The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, good morning and welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. Happy Valentine's. My name is Betty Akuku. I'm your host today. We are going to be talking about passion for the differently abled. With me in studio, I have beautiful, lovely looking ladies here to take us through this conversation. I hope you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will be able to find even the clip we have done on Valentine's and true love. I will ask my guests to introduce themselves, starting with the lady on my left.
All right, it is a beautiful morning. It's also Valentine's Day. I say happy Valentine's Day to all of you and all of you listening out this morning. I am Dashanaba King. I am African American. I've been in Kenya now for about 7 years, lecturing over at USIU. I've completed my contract there, and I am now an independent consultant, and I'm very happy to be here today and to talk about my passion.
Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
Yes, and the beautiful lady on my right.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to GBS. My name is Whitney Ngige. I'm currently a student at the United States International University of Africa, pursuing psychology and Chinese. And I'm also able differently, and I wanted this day to be special, it being the day of love, it being Valentine's, and happy Valentine's to everyone else. Let's make this a different day for everyone. Thank you.
Wow. Viewer, happy Valentine's. You could get to us through our SMS line 21144. And as I said, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, GBS Kenya. Welcome to this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Professor,
Yes,
you
darling.
have the passion for the differently abled. You know, we don't call them people with disability. We call them differently abled because they have other abilities, right?
That's right.
How did you get to have this passion? And when I look at you, I don't know if it is possible to tell that somebody is differently abled. How did you get this passion inside of your heart?
Well, growing up in America, in a place that we call the Bible Belt South, that's the southern part of the United States of America. My father is a minister, and I grew up in the church. And one of the things you're taught through God, through religion, and certainly through my family, is people are people. And as my daddy would say, God loves all of us. He loves all of his children, whoever they are. And that's how it was for me growing up.
Okay.
So when I saw someone who may have looked different, they're still one of God's children.
Okay.
And so there was no separation in how you treat them. I can recall in college, there was this guy who used to ride around the school in his chair, and we always would giggle at each other for years. So finally one day, the guy pushing him said to me, "But he likes you." I said, "He does? You think he'll take me out?" And so he said, "You have to ask him, because he's not going to ask you." And so one day I did ask Michael, would he go out with me? And he said, yeah.
He would go out with
He
you.
would go out with me. So the day came for us to go out.
Yes.
And I went to his house. He gave me the address. I went there. I took that wheelchair. I threw it in the trunk of my car, picked him up, put him in the car, and we went to see a movie.
How was that for you? Because
It
when
was
you were being taken out and
Yes.
you were the lady,
Yes.
you want to be treated nicely and to be treated like the lady. And so you want the man to be up there on his feet and take you around and do 1 and 2, 3 things for you. But you were the one doing this for him.
Didn't see it that way at all.
Okay.
All I saw was, remember now, when you go to school, you see the people all day long and you go through the hallway. Hi, hey, you know. So it's like we had a little, we knew ourselves a bit. And so when we went out, whatever it required was what it required. I didn't look at it like, ooh, I didn't even really think about it. But I think that has a lot to do with how I was taught.
Good. Whitney, how did you get yourself with this passion of the differently abled? Because everybody likes to enjoy their lives and nobody likes inconvenience, you know? So when something is causing you a little bit of inconvenience, you want to get out of it. What gives you the passion for people who are differently abled?
Okay, so this happened in 2005 when I just had, just like every other kid, just had a small eye problem, and I, just with a loving mom, rushed me to hospital because they couldn't imagine anything happening to me, and it wasn't that big anyway. So we went to Lions and saw a doctor here and there, transferred to Kikuyu, and that's when I lost my left eye, and I was like, wait, how is it gonna be? Am I gonna lose the right as well? And then, so is my time up on Earth, or what's really happening? So
What happened to you? You got an injury?
No. I just woke up. I had a red eye, and my mom rushed me to hospital and trying to see what the doctor could say, but it became clinic after clinic. And I was like, I just thought it was a red eye, just some drops, and that's it.
Yeah.
But then that went on and went on until I came to understand that this is becoming huge. I'm having to wear glasses. They're not helping me on and off school all the time. And I was like, Mom, are we on the right track? I was like, let's just do what the doctor says. Probably something is going to come good, but it did not.
It did not.
I will admit that it was not the best information that anybody would want to receive, but then you had to keep going because life is for the living. That's what my mom always used to tell me. For as long as you're not dead, that's the only limitation you can ever
Life
get.
is for the living.
Yes. So for anyone who's still breathing, in whatever condition they are, whether they're on their beds or on their chairs or under the table, wherever they are breathing. That is what matters. So they have to keep going. They have to.
They'd better live.
Yes.
If they're alive,
Yes.
they had better live.
Yes.
Okay.
So I feel like I was God chosen, having a disability that I wanted to be aside from, because I was like, no, this is Whitney, then we're going to have the disability on the side, because I don't want this kind of life. I knew it was trash life and everything. But with time, I learned that, oh, okay, so this is doable. So if they're driving, I can get an automatic car. I can get to where I'm going. And if it's not for a car, I will just hop into a public transport and get to where I'm going. So when I learned how to deal with it, that's when I understood it was not the end of life.
Okay.
It's hard for
How long
someone.
did that take you? Because you said it was 2005 when you were taken to the clinic, and you thought just eye drops will solve this. But now it ends up clinic after clinic, clinic after clinic, and you can't read well, you can't see well, and finally you're getting glasses, and they also partially help you. How was that news for you?
It wasn't sweet. It wasn't sweet. Especially that I had been born and I quote normal. So having to change was difficult. For how long will I see? I even started to think, I think I was in class 3, and I'm like, am I gonna get to a point where someday I'll be able to see my baby with my own eyes? I am thinking that when I'm in class 2. I'm like, you know what?
So it hit you so badly,
yes,
that at class 3, you moved to being a mother.
Yes.
From class 3.
I think that was my biggest worry.
Pushed you to being the mother.
Yes.
And you really wanted to see your child.
Yes.
You're not even concerned about, will I be able to see the man that I love, your husband,
no.
the books to read.
No.
Now that you're in USIU, you didn't think of, how will I pursue my studies this far if I'm not able to read well? You were thinking about a baby. Wow.
Because
it pushed you that far.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the news hit you really hard.
Yeah.
How did you accept that?
Well, my parents were there for me, like 100%. And all through, they've held me. I've actually the one who wanted to, for a minute, step back. But they were always pushing. I'm like, you guys, we need to quit. They're like, no, you're going. You keep going. I think that really, I was like, if my mom and dad are okay with this, who is everybody else? So if you have the strongest background, you can knock every mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Professor, getting back to your story, I'm thinking about you and Michael in the car. And now you've gotten out, you're out there, and I'm thinking there are people also who are hanging out. And so you're not just the two of you. How easy is it for you to hang around this guy and help him out? And everyone is watching, having expectations, they're thinking, so is this your brother that you must do all this? Is this just a stranger, I'm thinking, what was going on in your mind? Do you want to quit? Stay on? Help? What's going on in your mind? Are you really honest?
Well, Michael was a friend of mine, like I say.
Yeah.
When you're in school and you're going back and forth from class to class, you see each other.
Yeah.
And like all the other students. So I saw him a lot. He saw me a lot.
Yeah.
So when we got to...
But he was differently abled, and that didn't click anything in your heart?
It did not. It did not.
Okay.
And a lot of people say to me, why do you have this love? Where does it come from? where I think it comes from, okay, as I look back in my own history, where I think it comes from is growing up African American in America, where we were discriminated against because of the color of our skin. So I knew what it was like to be excluded or not included. So I think that's where it stemmed from inside of me.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I
Because
understand.
as much as you were looking whole and you could do everything you needed to do and could do like the others,
Yes.
some people still felt
Yes.
you were not human enough having a different color.
Right. Yeah.
So it also gave you that heart to be able to accept other people
Yeah.
just because they didn't have their 4 limbs straight
Yeah.
or their 2 limbs straight,
Yeah.
just because their hands were not all stretched.
Right.
And so it gave you that kind of a heart.
But also, it was from I must say, it had a lot to do with my religious education and growing up, and my father, because he was a minister of God. He's
Yeah.
also a professional gospel singer, and Daddy could sing about it, and Daddy, a very prolific speaker. I grew up in the States during the era of the civil rights. So I'm very fortunate to say that I'm one of the people in the world who got to meet Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when I was a
Wow.
child.
Really?
When I was a child. And I'm telling you, and my father's also Reverend King. They both are prolific speakers, okay, very charismatic. The difference is my father was also a singer. So my father was all about, we're all children of God. And they didn't make a big separation for me growing up.
Okay.
So that helped.
Okay. Whitney, listening to you, I can hear that your parents give you a big push. But for you, you were thinking like, I need to take a step back or just let go of this and accept that, you know what, Whitney, you were never going to be seeing someday. This is your life and this is your position. How did you get out of that and accept this? Because people do not like to associate with others that look different from them. Did you meet such kind of people?
Yes.
Apart from like people who are not like your parents?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so many.
Yes.
People who thought that she's crazy, she's not part of us.
For being partially blind?
Yes, that gave them. But I always ask them, who told you seeing was the normal route?
Was the way of life?
Yes. It could be that we are all meant to be probably blind, and there's a vision in that. Trust me, there's
You
something
see, like
missing.
the way people think that for sugar, for tea, you must put sugar.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And somebody will just come up and say, we could try salt also in the tea and we'll take it. And the taste,
And
we'll
no
get used
sugar.
to it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an illusion.
Yeah.
Who
So
said you
people
must
just
walk?
think, how could
Probably being
somebody
on a wheelchair
think?
is much better. So I always posed questions when everybody tried to cut me off.
Yeah.
They're creating groups. I'm not part. This clique, we hang out and few the like Whitney can't go for hiking. Whitney is gonna be, you know,
yeah.
because I love hiking and swimming, but people would be like, if you go to a place where hiking is so real, like it's bushy, you're gonna be all over. You're going to inconvenience us. You need someone to help you. You need someone. I'm like, okay, so you guys don't want to go with me?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm gonna find someone to go with me. But I'm gonna ask you, who told you that hiking on your foot is the best ideal way of hiking?
But you have feet. If it is about hiking, you have feet.
It's an illusion. It's just that we are so used to.
You know, like you go to Ngong Hills, you get to like the 5th or the 6th hill, and you need even to use your hands because just your feet alone can get you there. So you also need your hands, and you have both.
Exactly.
How would someone think that you can go hiking?
And you know what? They also fall even when they're seeing.
I know.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going with you guys. It's okay. I'm on my own. I'm taking a risk, and that's it. So I used to fall, get marks on my legs and everything, but I'm like, you know what? The goal is getting there, so it doesn't matter how you got there. So you're there.
Because people think you're going to be an inconvenience to them.
Yes.
Actually, I think people are very selfish, and everybody just likes to enjoy convenience. And when a little thing is not moving according to your heart or your wishes, then you don't want to take it. So these people were isolating you and segregating you because they thought since you don't see, you're going to drag them behind. They have to be here taking care of you all the time. What was your response to them?
Well, for the first few days, it would hurt. I would sit in my bed, cry and think about it and think how useless I am in the world. And to be honest, for some time I was really down, and I knew that, well, Whitney, just...
You agreed with them.
Yes. And like, you guys are so right.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Yeah, I'm falling and all that. And for real, I am a baggage. So I'm just going to stay in the house, lock myself up. And I don't know, wait for death, maybe. But then I didn't get to that point of waiting for death, or probably even get going for death myself. So I was like, I'm going to get out like everyone else. Because there is a reason for everything.
Yes.
At least I believe in that. And I was like...
Because you looked at yourself and you have your feet, you have your hands, you have everything else in order, except that your eyes cannot see perfectly well
But
than
they're
those other
beautiful.
people. And so this was just to push you back and let you die in your closet alone.
Yeah.
Professor, what did you say of that? Because I know a lot of people are doing that right now. There are also parents who are not as supportive as Whitney's parents.
Yes.
So they have to hide the children who are differently abled. And if for them, it may not just be sight. It may be that they have no limbs. It may be that they cannot walk straight. It may be many things, but their parents are hiding them. I mean, what leads to this? And what is it that these parents don't know that they're hiding their children?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say, when we use this word disability, disability, what is it really? There's different kinds and types. There can be developmental disability, there can be intellectual disability, it could be physical, it could be sensory, or it could be some combination of it. Some of them, as we look at people, we can see what the disability may be if they're in a chair.
Yeah.
But we don't know exactly what kind of disability has them in the chair, but they're in a chair such that they need a chair, or they're using a chair, all right?
Yes.
So one of the things I've learned is that the disabilities are different. But I'll tell you something about the disabilities being different. Everybody I've met, I kind of like want to meet people with different disabilities because I learned something. I learned something different. It's as if they've got this special gift about them.
I know.
And they do different things.
Yes.
And they know things we don't know.
Yes.
So I want to be in on that. So, you know, that it's sort of like that. Now, as for the parents and people who choose to hide their children. And this is just me speaking.
Yes.
About that particular way of being. It's something inside of them that they haven't come to grips with.
Okay.
And I would certainly hope that in life, those of us who are Christians, all right, or those of us who are godlike, will open ourselves up so that we can see people, you know, and speak to them from their heart. When I became a businesswoman and I would go in to see a businessman as a young black woman, well, first off, they didn't want to see me. I was a woman. I didn't realize they had a problem with women. I thought it was just the color. But eventually I came to find out it was the color and your gender. All right? So they don't want to see you for a number of reasons.
Yes, color and gender.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you look at Whitney also, you know, when you look at her physically, you don't realize that she is differently abled. And I would like to hear your story, Whitney, because it's true what Professor says. People who are differently abled, they usually have a special skill. They usually have something they can do so well. I mean, I see some people in town, in the city center, and most of them are blind completely, but they're able to sing so well. And when they sing, they're also able to play instruments, and they don't see, and they don't see, and they do it perfectly well. I'm interested to hear, what is that special thing that you have? And is it true as you interact with the others, do you realize that they also have something special? Because when Professor is talking, the people who are hiding their children, there is something they haven't come to terms with.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that those of us who've said that our life is about working with people and loving people, that we'll find a way to those people and we can begin to touch in their heart. Because it's something there that we haven't reached. So our work isn't done.
Okay. Viewer, I want us to take a short break. We are coming back to listen to Whitney's story and to get back with this conversation. Please engage us. Our SMS line is 21144. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, GBS Kenya, and you'll be able to find these clips and many others that we've done at Chungu. See you shortly.
How many of you use your real names on Facebook? Wengine ni sweetie pretty.
You must succeed in being an eagle and not a chicken.
I'm seeing myself owning the biggest media house in Africa. Yes, I could employ you, in fact. Yes.
All right, now it is going to another direction. But that's a question.
When you are born and when you grow up, now you do the work. You become a person who likes the country. You understand, right? I mean, not getting a job at Kenya Power, right?
And you know what? Who you are online is exactly who you are offline. And who you are offline is who you are online.
여러 군데 가서 강연을 많이 해보는데
So I've been to many places to give lecture.
우나일레와 사와사와 이러면
Whenever I say "Unailewa sasa,"
눈썹으로 인사를 대답을 해요.
they respond with their eyebrow.
Hi, my name is Zawadi. At Mahanaim, I studied to qualify for the IGCSE through the Cambridge International Educational Program.
We Mahanaim International High School students enjoy extracurricular activities such as joining GBS TV Club, Taekwondo, cultural dance, orchestra, swimming, foreign languages, community service, and much more. I believe this unique experience I gained here will go a long way into strengthening the future me.
The teachers and other ministers at Mahanaim spared no pain in running with us until the end of the mile, until we secured all of our goals.
And that's how I passed my IGCSE exams.
Mahanaim International High School cares about my future. Beyond our education, Mahanaim nurtures us to have bright and healthy mind so that we could become great future leaders.
The blood that Jesus shed on the cross has given us eternal redemption and made us sanctified. People receive salvation when they accept this gospel. As the gospel is the beginning of spiritual life, an accurate understanding and sureness of the gospel is the most important thing for a Christian. CELF has transformed the spiritual lives of many ministers and has led them to the right path of ministry. It has grown each year, bringing together more than 24,000 ministers just in 2017 alone. The pure gospel is accomplished only through the grace of Jesus Christ.
Our sins have been forgiven. He's made us righteous. He's cleansed us, sanctified us. And for me, it's fantastic. I'm so glad about that.
Praying that there's going to be peace worldwide. And so we are praying for the unity in the body of Christ. And there's great hope.
The ministers from various denominations should return to the Bible through CLF, an upright ministry and true spiritual life, which is not by works and efforts, but through grace and faith, breaking free from formalities and theories with the heart of God. The new wave of change in world Christian ministers will continue through the Christian Leaders Fellowship.
And this is G Radio.
Hello guys and welcome. This is G Radio, #1 TV show, and we're coming live at GBS TV. And I'm your host, Isaac Tabitha.
I'm the co-host, Evan Tinyari. And as usual, we have our DJ Deco. You can also send your views on my Instagram page and Tinyari_Eva.
Also, you can get me on our Facebook page as Isaac Tabitha. Thank you so much, guys.
Keep it here.
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. Our SMS line is 21144. We are having a very interesting conversation about the differently abled. We don't like to call them disabled because they are abled in many other different ways. They can do many things that you who thinks you are able cannot do. And we want to listen to the story of Whitney. Tell us your story, my dear.
Well, this one night I was like, God, if you really love me so much, don't give me another day. Because life was crazy.
I know.
I was ready to go. I mean, I was ready to die.
Don't give me another day?
Yes.
You say that to God?
Yes, I did, to be
you
honest.
must have been so bitter.
Yes. You know, when your friends show you how disabled you are, trust me, you're going to be disabled. And if you let them, actually.
Okay.
So I woke up. I'm like, God, I thought we had an agreement. I wasn't supposed to see today.
Yeah, but
then I
you've given me
sat
life
back and I
again.
told my mom what I told God. Like, you don't tell God such things, because there is a reason as to why you're waking up and someone else didn't.
Okay.
So from then till today and forever, I learned that if you're able to breathe the next morning, just breathing, not walking, not seeing, not everything else. The worst disability is only breathing, because if you're not breathing, you're dead.
You're dead.
That's
the worst disability.
Those ones we're actually gonna isolate them.
Okay.
Automatically.
I know.
So life hasn't been easy, but after what my mom told me, I decided, you know what? Let's keep going.
Okay.
And I asked God, give me many years. And I think
what
that's
was the special thing you discovered about yourself?
I realized that I got tactics of doing things. If I want to put milk in a thermos, where most of the time I'll probably spill it on the side, just come closer and put your milk slowly, no hurry.
Yes.
And finally you have the milk in the flask where an abled person would have done it. And I learned how to do with it. So when I was in Form 2 in Ginda Girls, that's when people from Kikuyu Hospital came visiting schools.
Yeah.
If you, they will just do a general checkup, and if it was special, they would probably ask you to visit their hospital and all that. So this time they gave me some devices to help me use them in my studies, because I was in a regular school all my life, and I'm
You
still
in a regular school?
Yes.
How are you doing that?
Yeah, never seen Braille, never done Braille. I don't know what's Braille. I've heard about it, but haven't come across it.
So how are you able to read?
Well, I was like, if I do this, I might, mentally, I might just completely be blind.
Okay.
So I told my mom, let's stick to a regular school where I'm seeing people do normal things, and then I copy and paste.
Okay. So do you think it's better to be in a regular school or in a special school?
I think it's better to be in a regular school.
In a regular school.
I know that's weird, but from my experience, it's better.
It's
because
better.
these people around you, you want to live a normal life, right?
Okay.
So if you, they might not let you in, but if you force yourself in, you're already in. So if they're drinking from a white cup, you're also drinking from a white cup.
I know. So
But
you
if you
force
go,
yourself in.
Yes, if they're not letting you. If they're letting you, you're good to go as well. But at the end of the day, make sure you're in.
Okay.
So I lived with them. We did everything together. I washed clothes like everyone else, wrote like everyone else, though I was using the devices. So today I carried one of the devices that I still use until today. This was a monocular gadget that had a base under. So you'd place it on a book and then you'd go reading word by word. It was hectic for a start.
I know, because if you have to read 5 pages,
that's 2 years.
Wow.
Because it's word by word.
So it magnifies.
Yes. It's word by word, and at times you'll not get it and you have to do it all over again. But then I was like, now I need to write. And if this thing is placed on where I'm supposed to write, I have to remove it and write, and I can't see.
And you can't see what you're writing.
It gave me a headache for 2 weeks. I'm not submitting my assignments. Nobody's knowing what is really happening. And I finally got to remove it from the base. I separated it. As you can see, it's separated.
That's how you had to remove it.
Yes, because I was like, this is the barrier. The base was the barrier. So I held it and I brought it close and was like, perfect. This looks like 100 years now.
Whitney, what was pushing you to actually come out of yourself and do all this? Because it's so easy, Professor, to just say, you know what, it's not working. This is for other people. And even though I'm differently abled, I can also do something different apart from studies. Why did you have to stick to studying? Why couldn't you find something else to do? Like, people have many and major and true excuses. You know what? How will I walk to school? I can't read. Why do I have to strain myself to read and do normal exams like normal and regular children. Why do you have to do this? You know, it's a very common and good excuse. Yeah. So what was pushing you this far?
I knew that if I stopped then, I would have probably blocked myself from a million other chances.
Okay.
I knew that I could maybe in a day get my eyesight back or never. And I was like, okay, so you need to be ready for both ways. And that's the motivation that kept me going. And mom used to tell me, please make me proud. Because you're my only daughter, you're my only son, you're my everything. So
you were a lone child?
Yes. You have to make me proud. And I just didn't see that as making mom proud. I was like, So I started putting down a list of everything that I'm special in.
Okay.
To begin with, today is my birthday.
Wow.
And we all recognize
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
I don't
Someone needs to bring some cake here.
I don't say how old I'm turning,
No
but I'm
problem,
really
just
young.
don't say.
But today's age till death. And that was number one. The number two, I'm the only kid.
And your birthday is the Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So you receive cakes and you receive flowers. You receive so many things.
Yes.
I mean, that is so special for real.
So I put it
that's
down
so
and if anybody put me off, I'll be like, give me your list. Let me see what you have. And also please state what you don't have. So the only thing that I didn't have was good eyesight.
The only thing.
I had beautiful eyes. I was born on Valentine's. I was like, should I go on?
Yes.
So they gave up. They really gave
So
up.
you had a beautiful long list of good things that you can do and things about you, and they could not even get to, number 3 of the things they're good at. Yeah.
The trick here is know yourself. List down what you're really bad at. If you're noisy, just list it down because that's who you are.
Yes.
And then list good things about you because you're the only person who knows yourself.
Yeah.
And you're going to be honest with yourself. So list you're beautiful. You have a good voice that you can make use of. You have beautiful eyes that you can roll and take selfies. Just make use of them. So that way, if you know who you are, nobody's going to tell you.
So
anything.
falling was not even a problem for you. No. Because you're talking about the marks. I'm wondering, where are the marks? Sometimes you really have, and I'm seeing you're also wearing a short dress. So if you had marks, you'd really want to hide them.
Trust me, it's just for today.
Just for today?
Yes.
What do you do on a regular day?
I wear trousers.
Why?
I would even wear something from here to there and everywhere else. I don't mind. But just there.
To hide?
Yes, to hide.
Why?
To avoid them talking about it, them asking about it, and you have to repeat.
So where did you get the marks from?
Hiking, falling in the streets, or maybe I'm crossing the road and my aim is to, that was the time I was crossing a bridge. Then after crossing, I was like, now I need to now cross the road. At least the bridges do help us.
Yes.
But upon crossing the road, I saw the bus coming. Then I was like, if you run, you'll get there. So I ran, but I didn't think about where I was going. I only thought of what I was gonna avoid, which was the bus. So I
crossed the bus.
I ran into a ditch.
A ditch.
Because
you only wanted to
leave
not
the
be
bus,
hit by
but
the bus.
The other side of the road.
Yeah.
So I ran into a ditch and I was badly hurt.
I know. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I woke up. Everyone is looking at me. I want to cry. I want to pretend that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Then
and they
like,
don't know that you're not seeing well.
Exactly. And they're asking, "Kwani hauoni?" I'm like,
I know.
No, just that. It's the bus. How couldn't I not see that?
My timing wasn't good.
And I asked them, how couldn't I not see that? They don't know. And they were like, Pole, madam. They were trying to wipe me. I'm like, wow, I don't know where I was looking. They just didn't know I wasn't seeing. Yes, I know. I was like,
I know, because you're supposed to, everyone is asking you, you're not seeing, but they don't know
but
that you
engage
actually.
them. You're like, I'm also wondering, why am I not seeing? They don't know.
They don't know.
The moment I look at you, even if my eyes are closed, or rather if I'm blind, you think we are together, we are conversing and everything, but I'm just probably seeing a dark vision, but I'm imagining how you look like, how your nose is shaped.
Professor, what would you do in such a scenario where you have met with someone who is differently abled and you're not able to tell? Is it okay to ask them?
Well, actually, it's not.
It's not? Really?
Part of what I do when I go around and I talk, I speak to people who are able differently, and I say to them, for all of these able people, what is it that we do that you don't like? And I have a list of that I'd like to share with our audience today. Okay? And one of the things is not to ask about a person's disability. If there's something they want you to know, they'll let you know. It's also like when people need help. Sometimes we just automatically feel that we're supposed to go and help them. Let's say if a person is opening their door for themselves, and you think, oh, they need help, and you go help them. Well, that could be the very thing that hurt them, because
really?
they could have been. They may have figured
really
out.
being kind.
No, they may have figured out how to maneuver that door. So once you open it for them, you've taken away their ability to be able to use that door to help them do what they have to do. So, and I've been guilty of that. I've run and helped somebody because I thought they needed help, right? And then I learned, no, that's not how you do it. Ask.
You need to ask them whether they need help.
May I help you?
Oh.
And then if they need your help, they'll.
So if I find someone struggling to walk with a stick, I don't just help them to cross the road?
You
really?
ask.
Yes.
That's not kindness. I thought I have the eyes so I can see for them and just guide them through.
No, that's the, That's no.
Actually, that happened to me a lot. People would be like, can I help you write your notes? Can I do this? Can I help you do your assignments? Because I was like, I know the goal is for the work to be done, but then if you help me today, who's going to help me tomorrow when you're not around?
Okay.
So we don't think up to that level. I get it.
Yes.
So they don't like to be asked.
Yeah, no.
They don't like to be helped. They need you to ask them.
Well, I don't want to say they don't like to be helped. I don't want to say that.
Okay.
What I want to say is we
ask.
should ask.
Okay.
That is the key.
Okay. Yeah. What else don't they like? Because listening to you, I now get that you make a lot of mistakes.
Yes.
You know? We hurt them more when we're actually thinking that we are helping them out. Yeah. What is it that they don't like?
Well, one of the things that we should all do is learn the proper terminology. Okay. And God, can I relate to that one? Because that's that N word. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know the N word.
Yes.
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 So you do that, you'll see my swinging left jab. So with a differently able person, you use the wrong terminology. They may not say anything, but they're steaming on the inside. So lesson number 1, learn the right terminology. And even in today's world, using the word abled differently, some people have an issue with that as well.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's been many words that we've used over the years,
the ones
over the
I know
decades.
they don't like is disabled, you know, people with disability. But when we say able differently, it means just by the fact that they cannot see well or write or walk, they can also do something better. Which word do they like?
It depends on the people you're with, and it depends also on the industry that you're in. If you're in the medical profession, they use different words. And it may be more acceptable there for them to use those words. But to my understanding, in today's world, to be politically correct, if you will, we say abled differently.
Okay.
But then there are those who don't like that word either.
They don't
so
like
if someone expressed to you that they don't like it, I don't think it's time to go into a debate about, well, I saw on the news that this is the politically right thing to say. The thing to say is, forgive me, what would you like for me to say?
Okay. And also in our country, in many other places that have made such kind of people, I don't know whether we discriminate against them so much because you don't find them in many of our organizations working, you know, because people probably think they cannot do it well. We do not have the confidence to employ people who are differently abled because we expect that they will let us down, they will disappoint us. At some point, they won't be able to do the job well. What do you think about that, Whitney?
Well, inclusion is key in every country, in every home state.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need to, if you have a small child, expose them to persons with disability. Not when they get into their 20s, they have a chance to stare. And persons with disability don't like when you stare at them because you remind them that there's something wrong about you. So the moment you're looking at her, trying to see, is it her leg that is carved?
You're trying to figure out.
Exactly. How you know, you're reminding them, and you're looking them into their eyes, but trying to see, oh, she's on a wheelchair, and
So they don't like you to stare on them, just staring.
Does anybody
and-
stare at you because of walking? No. So nobody
Mm-hmm.
should stare at you because of using a wheelchair. Because we are all just going to our destinations. That is what matters.
Talking
not how.
about inclusion, Whitney, why are people not employing people who are able differently? What is the point? Because I think part of the thing is we don't even step out to go looking for the job. Why is this not happening?
Discrimination, baby. Prejudice.
But they are good in other things. Yeah,
No,
just
I'm
because they
saying
don't
this
work.
society
Yes.
has prejudice. Society has discrimination.
So whose problem is it? Is it the society? Is it the individuals themselves?
It's society. And that is why
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Because if I am differently able, like Whitney has stood out, she will go and ask for the job and she will want to prove out herself. Why won't I employ her?
Okay.
Because my issue is not how she looks, and what she can do. My concern is, can she do the job that I'm employing her for?
Okay.
So if you don't come and show up, how do I know this is what you can do?
Okay.
If you're only looking at your legs, if you're only looking at your eyes and looking at every other thing that you cannot do, how do I know the things that you can do? And that's why I really love her list of the things that she can do.
Yeah, the things you can do.
Yeah.
And when you talk about employment, let me say, Betty, that is one of my hot buttons.
Okay.
Being inclusive and jobs for people. Even our government, this Kenyan government,
Yes.
has a 5% policy that every employer should have 5% of their employees should come from the
Differently able
right, from the
society.
community. But not many are doing it. And not many are there even enforcing that policy. And trust me, I have gone with many able differently person out there seeking for jobs, and what we get back from the employers is usually their prejudice or their discriminating about what they think about it, or what they think that the person can do or cannot do. But I will be the first to say that when you have a person who's able differently, my God, they do whatever they'll do better. And that's why I say I can relate, because coming from the African American community, whatever we choose to do, we normally excel
And you
at
do
what
it
we do,
perfectly.
because we were always criticized for what people thought we couldn't do.
Yeah.
So our parents would always say,
But
you
if
know,
people think you can do that, Professor, then it's for you. It's a chance for you to stand out and show them, you know what, I can do it. Yeah, why don't you stand out and do it? Because if you came to my office and I'm an employer and I want to employ you, first of all, I will be stunned by the boldness and the courage for you to come over to look for this job. In spite of your looks, and I will want to give it a try. And because you say they excel in the other things that they do, I would want to give it a try.
Okay.
So I think the society may not be per se the problem, but the individuals themselves, because they are not stepping out there to show what they have.
I hear you, but I disagree, only because I've done a lot of work in the field, and especially in this area of employment and getting jobs. You see, when a person is able differently, a lot of them have certain feelings and thoughts about themselves that has to also be overcome.
Yes.
So
And
when they
whose
go out,
job is that?
Yeah. So when
Whose
they
job is
when
that?
they get
Then
bold
there is
enough,
a gap.
yeah,
There is a gap.
yeah,
The
yeah.
society
Yes.
has their own feelings and thoughts about the differently abled.
Yes.
The differently abled also have their own space
Yes.
and their thoughts about themselves.
Yes.
And the government or the employers are also waiting. That is why they have been given a share. Did you say 5%?
Yes.
Yes. But they are not there. So in this case, do we victimize the government for not doing that? No. They have been given a chance.
It's not that way. And I'm speaking from real
Experience.
life experience right here in a place called Kenya. The employers are not sitting there waiting. They're not sitting there waiting for the ably different person to come. In fact, when that person shows up, who do they meet first? They don't meet the boss. They meet the person sitting at the front desk.
Okay.
What is their relationship to a person differently able, or what do they think about it? So the point I'm making is there's a lot of education
they think they're coming
and awareness.
to ask for, to ask for money, to ask for help. That's what they think. Yeah. That's
And
what
many
they think.
times the decision is made by the girl at the front desk who has no power and no authority.
I know.
Yet she's the first person that you come in contact
So what do you
with.
think is the solution to that? Should the bosses tell their receptionists and secretaries that in case we have people who are coming to look for jobs, they should be given a chance? What do you think is the solution to that?
There is a whole way of creating awareness and education about this area that's got to take place. Just like there's been massive campaigns about HIV. We have not had a massive campaign in this area.
We have not.
And I'd love to see that come about. And I want to be a part of that. And I know that my gal here,
with
Whitney,
your passion, I know you'd want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Whitney,
So
have you gone, you're still studying, but have you heard of people who went into an office and they were turned away because of how they looked?
Yeah. I've also done interviews because it's good to work as you getting a coin is really fun and using it. So I've gone to interviews where I want to tell them the whole story.
Yes.
And also show them that the only reason I told you this not for you to be empathetic, but for you to know that I know what I can't.
Yeah.
But I know very well what I can. Or rather what I don't have.
But even seeing how when you can see, like today we have fonts that you can increase the font, Yeah. So
they just don't know
I don't
that.
even know if you still have any problem.
No. You have everything on your phone.
Yeah,
you can make it a large print. If you need to read a paper, you just need to take a picture, zoom it in, read, and you have everything like everyone else. But then the problem why we're blaming society is because even before I get to go seeking a job, how has my life been?
Okay.
Have I been shown that I'm like everyone else, or have I been shown that I'm not like everyone else? That really matters. Because if I was born, I'm probably on a physically challenged.
Yes.
And how did the society take it? From my mom to my dad to my neighbor
to your schoolmates?
Exactly. What have they taught me? What have they told me life is, and how can it be?
They may have taught you negatively.
Exactly. And if you're not strong enough to curb that negativity and put in your positivity, that's why you just can't go offering. You always remember, what did they say?
So who do you think went wrong on this?
Society.
The society.
Yes.
It's not the individuals themselves.
Because the only reason as to why I'm courageous is because of the society again.
Okay.
And it's the same reason as to why someone is sitting locked up somewhere. Yes, for the same society.
So how do they need to discover themselves and get out? Because a lot of them are locked inside, because they're judging themselves from how they look, and they're also fearful that when they step out there, the society is going to beef up even the negativity to them. So what needs to be done? Because the government has given a percentage for them to be covered, to be included in the employment section, and the society has this negativity. They also have the negativity. Where is their positive mind gonna come from? Because when I see you actually in a wheelchair and you have come to work in my office, I think many people are already thinking of your mobility. Are they gonna send you, You're going to be, you're not going to be an asset. You're going to be more of a liability to them, But if you have come, then I think you must be ready to prove yourself. But are they even coming? Are they even coming?
Yeah.
In more numbers than you would think, Betty. And again, really, when you hear me say I have a passion in this area,
a particular awareness needs to be done. Somebody needs to come and bridge the gap to bring in the positivity, because the people who are differently abled do not have the positivity inside of them. Only very few.
Some of
and
them.
that's why I'm so concerned. Where did you get your positivity? You need to speak to somebody out there who is locked up, just thinking that I'm not gonna make it. But you said from the beginning that life is for the living. Yeah. And also I'm thinking, if you are moving somewhere and your car gets stalled, do you stay there or get to your destination?
Get to your destination.
You have to move and
That's
get
the
to your
goal.
destination.
Yes.
So somebody has to come and fix the car, whether it is fixed or not. You have to get to your destination. Right? Yeah. So there are some of these people, you were born a normal child, very normal, very okay. But some years down the line, you have lost your sight partially. You know, do you die? You're gonna move on. So somebody else also was not born with no limbs, but as they lived their lives, they got an accident. Something happened, and now they don't have a limb. Are they supposed to just lock themselves inside? No. Yeah, somebody needs to give them that positivity. Who is that gonna be? The government has done its part. Who is gonna put that into the hearts of those people?
Betty, I have to say that in my opinion, no, the government has not done its part. You've created a policy, but there is no implementation. There is no monitoring. So it's just a rule. That doesn't work. It's called, in my opinion, what we're up to is education and awareness all the time, all the time, all the time, in every setting. Whether it's in the church, in the school, on the street. And so it's society for the most part that are quote unquote the normal people. So a lot of the education and awareness must start there.
In the society.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody needs to hear.
But we're
I need
not
you to give your parting
Yes.
shot because we are done with an hour already.
Oh no.
Imagine.
Oh no, I haven't
time
even given you all of
flies
these.
When you want to talk about something interesting with me, I need you to give your parting shot and please tell them where they will find the positive mind like you did.
Okay. So first of all, this is to everyone, abled differently and those who are abled in any other way. If anybody tells you something, whatever it is, whether you're not beautiful or whether you're beautiful, it's okay. They have a right to give their opinion. But then if it doesn't appeal you, smile it off and go to the next chapter. Because if I'm to sit down and, oh, he said I'm not beautiful, oh, I don't like life, who are you hurting? You're hurting yourself. So I want to tell every PWD outside there that you need to step up. I don't mind how your background was or how people treated you back then, but can we just leave that in the past and move forward? Again, to the society, we can do so much. Let's have lifts in the building. Let's have escalators or whatever in the buildings, because if I'm to go looking for a job in a certain building and I'm on a wheelchair and I know very well the building doesn't have a lift, because you can always check on the online just before visiting them and you find that there are no lifts. Why should you even go there? So you see, my chance to seek for employment is blocked literally even before I enter the building.
I get you.
Hey.
Professor.
Well, I concur with Betty in that people able differently and people in society step it up. If not you, who?
Exactly.
And if not now, when? The onus is on each and every one of us. And I want to thank GBS and Betty for having this show. And I want to do another one and another one and another one to be part of the education and the awareness, because the time is now. And if not you, as we sit here today and we're celebrating the birthday of our dear sister Whitney,
No.
I want to say to you, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
To
You
you.
can stand.
Happy birthday,
Okay,
Lady
Your Lord, this is
Whitney.
so lovely.
Your Lord's full of surprises.
Happy
Huh?
birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to get off
That's
this.
my
and-
lovely one.
She's on. That's her.
Okay.
That.
Thank you for the surprise with me.
Yes.
Thank you, viewer, for watching. This has been a lovely show. I hope that you say happy Valentine's and happy birthday to Whitney. This has really been beautiful. And the differently abled in our society, I hope that you get it very right. Please step up. And also, our government, please consider. Whitney has put her requests, put the lifts so that they can come and look for the jobs in a safe way. In our restaurants, have the people to interpret so that we are not discriminating against these people. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Betty Akuku. I've been your host. Have a lovely and happy Valentine's. See you next time.